Hmm.
Are you feeling any better?
I'm among the living. We'll just go with that. But it was awful, just awful. So yeah, but luckily Layla's mom has all these connections at USC, so she actually had a doctor friend of hers go by and check on Layla.
Oh, good.
It
Well, I'm
was
glad to see you.
thank you. I feel awful about today, the first day of the quarter. It was crazy.
It's okay. You're okay. Miss
Yeah.
Okalaja, do you want me? I'm gonna ask you more tomorrow, Dr. Line. We just have a new live streaming thing, and so it's already recording. So that's why I didn't want to ask you too much.
I appreciate that.
Um, Miss Okalaja, do you want me to share my screen or do you want to share as you talk?
I will share my screen as I talk because you're
Okay.
recording. You're recording it, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
so
it's already live streaming.
it's already live streaming, so it automatically records now. So that's great. But we'll give everyone a few minutes because to hopefully get a quorum. No
Everyone
one
got my email,
else.
right?
Yeah. So far we have all the staff, not Miss Odom yet. But none of the families yet. And we'll need three more to get a quorum.
Do we have any of the parents' phone numbers?
Yes, I don't want to share them because we're on recording. Here's Miss George, so that's good. I was texting Miss Odom right now. So because we need two more people. Okay, let's see. Hi, Miss George. Thanks for coming. We're trying to wait if we can for two more people so we have a quorum because otherwise we can't keep going. But thank you for being here. Oh, here's Miss Johnson. That's great. So we just need one more, Okalaja. I'm trying to see. Miss Odom is logging in now, Miss Okalaja. So then we'd be good. I'm still going to call one more parent. But once Miss Odom logs in, we'll have a quorum. And hey, Miss Johnson, you got on when I was on the phone with Miss Odom. Thanks for being here. We're just waiting to have one more teammate and then we'll start. All right, I just let our sixth teammate in, I believe. Oh yeah, it is Miss Odom. We see her. I was going to say we'll find out when we take roll, but you're good, Miss Okalaja.
All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are excited to have our first Go Team meeting, our official meeting of the year. So thank you all so much. We are going to call this meeting to order. Are we supposed to do it first? Oh, and also, okay. Also, we have Miss Stifler taking notes for us as our interim secretary for the moment. And we're going to talk about electing one today. This is our agenda. All right. This is our agenda for today. These are the items that we're going to be talking about. Roll call. We have action items, discussion items, our school strategic plan, and then data discussion. We're going to talk about the data that we're going to show you all. And then Ms. Stifler is going to give her report. Oh, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I second that motion.
Sorry, Miss Graham, who was the first? I didn't see a first. Okay, Miss Graham was our first. Do we have a second?
I motion to second.
Thank you. We can move on. We're going to take roll.
Yep, so if you want to go to the next slide, Miss Okalaja. Yep, and as Miss Okalaja said, I'm serving as the interim secretary today. So if you go back one, we'll do our roll. There we go. Miss Crittenden, I don't see you here. Mr. Hudson, Devontae Hudson. Miss Johnson.
Here.
Thank you. Miss Woodall. I don't see you. Miss Okalaja is here, we know. Miss Graham.
Here.
Perfect. Miss Dr. Lyon.
Yes, I am here.
Thank you. Miss Odom.
Here.
Thank you. Miss George.
I'm here. Sorry.
Perfect. Miss Yuda, I saw Miss Yehuda, right? We have to spell that correctly. So we will update that. Sorry about that. And Miss Parrish, I don't see her. All right, so we do have 6 voting teammates here. We actually have 7, so we do have a quorum. And just a reminder, Ms. Okalaja, when you have a motion, then you'll have everyone say yes or no to take a vote for those voting items and action items. But good job.
These are our norms that we want to be reminded of as we're going through this meeting. This is a meeting of the Go Team. This meeting will allow for public comment. I believe this is one of the meetings that we said we were supposed to have for the public, right? We will be fully present. We will follow the agenda as noticed to the public and stay on task. We will be respectful of each other at all times. We will be open-minded. We invite and welcome contributions of every member of the public, and we will listen to each other. We will respect all ideas and assume good intentions. We will approach differences of opinion with curiosity. So making sure we are grounding ourselves in these norms so that we can have a productive and efficient meeting. Oh, so we have to approve this, right? We have to approve the minutes from September's meeting. I'll scroll through it just to see if everything is okay. Oh, wait, September. This is the whole September? Oh, do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move that we approve the agenda.
I second that motion.
And then what's the thing that you want me to do? To vote on, everyone has to vote.
So yeah, the first is if anyone had any edits, but if we motion to approve, everyone says it's okay for the minutes and can move it into final copy. So Ms. Odom and Dr. Lyon motion to approve it. So now we say all approving, say aye or raise your hand, and any opposing, say nay or raise their hand.
Oh, if everyone approves, go ahead and raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, I got it. I'm looking and writing their names down.
Any rejections? Any abstaining voting members? Awesome, the minutes are approved. All right, so we talked last time about electing a Go Team secretary. Okay, do we have any nominations for the Go Team secretary?
I nominate Ms. Odom.
Do we need someone to second the nomination?
I second that.
No, just if any nominees, and then if it's only Miss Odom, she gets a chance to say if she would want to do it, or remove her nomination if she keeps it, to say why she would be good at it.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? All right, so we will go ahead and ask Ms. Odom if she wants to approve this or she wants to reject the nomination.
I accept the nomination.
All right, well, she's the only person running, but she still has to give us a speech. All right, cool. So you're going to give us a spiel about 1 to 2 minutes about why you believe that you're going to be the best secretary for KIPP Woodland Parks Academy Go Team. I'll give you about 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay. I believe I would make a good secretary because I'm pretty organized. Even though I was late today, I will be on time moving forward. I'm dependable. Also, I feel like I'm a neutral person, so I could always like hear all sides and voices and be able to record their messages without any biases. that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much for sharing. So now, is this a motion to approve, or are we voting? Are we voting? All right. Everyone in favor of Ms. Odom being our Go Team Secretary, say aye or raise your hand.
All right, thanks, Miss Graham. I see yours. I'm trying to scroll through. Miss George, I see.
Aye.
Thanks, Dr. Lyon. And Miss Odom, you're allowed to vote as well if you would like.
Oh, aye.
Okay, thanks,
Aye.
Okalaja. Odom. Okay,
Are there any rejections? I don't see any. Are anyone abstaining?
we didn't have Miss Johnson or Miss Yehuda, but I wrote those down.
Oh,
I vote in favor. Aye. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Thank you. Okay, I'll change it. Yep,
I'm driving, so I'm sorry. My apologies.
that's okay.
all right. So Ms. Odom is our new Go Team Secretary. This is amazing. Let's congratulate her. Let's put the congratulations emoji up. Thank you so much. We're excited to have you as our new Go Team Secretary. Awesome. All right, so we are going to get into our 2021-2025 strategic plan. And I thought we were going, okay, well, this is our strategic plan. And if you come to our school, you'll be able to see it. So we're not going to dive so much into it, but learning experience. Our school is going to offer a consistent and a joyful, academically excellent environment. Alumni success, we are invested in making sure the alumni are thriving. Equity, KIPP Atlanta is eliminating systems of oppression and lifting up voices within our school community. We desire to have family partnerships. KIPP Atlanta families are engaged with their schools and impacting change for our community. Built to last, we are interested in having a legacy, getting stronger as we get bigger. Our families love us and all of our KIPsters thrive academically. That is the tagline. If you don't remember anything else, is our families love us and all of our KIPsters thrive academically. Strategic continuation year. The purpose, this rationale, the purpose of this continuation year, sustain. We tried a lot of new things.
Do you all, sorry to interrupt. Do you all see Miss Okalaja's screen still? Yeah, okay. On mine it didn't. Perfect. I just wanted to make sure you guys see the slides.
We tried a lot of new things and we need to continue what is working. We won't know what worked from this year until we get the data back, continue momentum on what's working. Example, early lit, fund balance initiatives. Stabilize. We need to stabilize our programming or operation before introducing anything new or different. Continuous improvement, one KIPP, fund balance initiatives, etc. Full implementation of Frankenhouse operating model. Simplify. We're still doing too much and we need to continue to hone in on the most important things. Think recent assessment strategy revamp. Steady community voices, listening to families, scholars, and staff. One KIPP requirements and KIPP foundation, our 2030 plan. And then I'm going to move on. AI and other innovations impacting teaching and learning. Are we supposed to be taking questions out afterwards?
This is up to you, but I think this part of the Go Team direction was just naming what's KIPP Atlanta strategic plan, and then the next one are our goals, and then you'll see yeah. And this is just the explaining of the KIPP Atlanta strategic plan.
All right. We are continuing our strategic plan for KIPP Atlanta, launch and preparation, July to August. We've already done that. Set planning timelines and milestones. Stakeholder discovery and engagement. So from August to October, this is what we were focusing on, getting surveys and listening tours from alumni and staff and families. We're supposed to have a community think tank launch and audit review all performance data and conduct needs assessment. Strategy development from October to February. This is what we're going to be focusing on: drafting core values, strategic pillars and goals, draft priorities, and align on measurable outcomes, iterate with stakeholders. Final Plan finalization, March to May, finalize strategic plan with strategies and initiatives, review by board of directors and approve final plan. Communication and launch, May to July, we're going to develop communications, design strategic plan materials, translate strategic plan into action plans, and then launch year one priorities. These are the performance metrics that we are focused on at our school. So these are the different buckets, milestones and achievement. 35% of scholars in grades 3 to 8 will score proficient or better on all GMAS or EOG assessments, end of grade assessments. Milestone achievements 2 and up, 70% of scholars in grades 3 to 8 will score developing or better on all GMAS or EOG assessments. This year we are doing iReady, so we are no longer doing MAP testing. So our iReady growth for reading and math is to monitor our progress. 75% of scholars meet or exceed their typical growth target on iReady. K to 4 DIBELS growth, 75% of scholars in grades K to 4 will show average growth on grade level DIBELS or average growth or above. K to 8 reading Lexile, which I believe our iReady is showing us what the Lexile is, what their reading levels are. So 51% of scholars reading on grade level Lexile target. Our report card. So attendance, which is huge for us. 72% of scholars will attend school more than 90% of their school year. And then the family love score, because remember that's our tagline, our families love us. K to 8 will receive an average love score of 72 or higher. Scholar culture, we are focusing on reducing out of school suspension to 150 compared to last year. How far do we have to go? Attendance. So this is how far we need to go based off of our data from last year. You all can read the numbers. All right, so we are going to have a discussion. So those are our goals for the year. This is our vision for the year based off of some information based off of the data from last year. So we're going to go into a data discussion, and this is exciting to look at because we want to look at where we are and if you all have any suggestions on getting us to grow in certain areas, our reading and our math, and specifically for 8th grade, they have social studies and they have a science test to take. So if you have any creative ideas, if you have any ideas about partnerships, and also too, we discuss talking about this data so that we all have language. We all know how to talk about the school when other people are talking about the school outside of KIPP, outside of Woodson Park. Will you be able to say what is going on in the school? Why do we need the partnerships? Why do we need certain collaborations? Why do we need resources? And then also there's been a climate of different schools closing in the Atlanta area. And so you will continue to have pride or have some sort of rationale behind what you're saying if you know what we're doing inside of our schools, right? And also too, there's voting that's taking place soon. So you all would know who to vote for based off of, if you live in Atlanta, you would know who to vote for based off of what they are trying to push based off of our data. So while we're having this discussion, and we would love to have a fruitful discussion, what do you notice? So take note on what do you notice? What are you wondering about? Based on our trends from MAP and end of year tests, which student or subgroups and grade levels showed the most significant gaps or unexpected trends? Based on our school's trend data from MAP assessment milestones and other indicators, are there specific trends that require more focused attention? And what additional questions do you have? So even if you don't, if anything, at least let's have some questions so that all of us can get some clarity around the data and how the school is performing. So our GMAS results from this past year, what we decided to do is actually use the neighboring schools, I believe, and look at their data from the milestones and the results from the end of the year. And this was cumulative, all of the grade levels that took the math GMAS. So what you should just notice here in the red, we see that we are 40% compared to our other neighboring schools in the red that are 54%, 51%. And then also too, I'm a person that's like, I look at the negative too quickly. So I looked at the red too quickly, even though it was on the left side. But like, let's look at the right. We see that the advanced students were at 3%. And we see that we have a lot of students in green, 15% compared to Invictus and Harper Archer. And then we see that we do have some students in the yellow. So that is a way, or that's just some hope that we can at least get them into the green. Our ELA scores, again, we are comparing it to the neighboring schools. And as we're looking, I don't know if you all are taking notes. What are you wondering about? What do you notice? And even really quickly, if you all have any questions, I don't want to just even wait to the end. What are some questions or some trends that you're seeing? If we can get like 2 people to share, like what are some trends that you're seeing, even between the math and the ELA? You can come off of mute. Someone asked me to go back to math real quick. Is there anything shocking? I'm gonna ask Miss George if she saw anything that was shocking. If you're wondering about something.
Not wondering about anything, but I see in the green, they're comparable. The yellow is not so much comparable. And then the red is somewhat comparable on both ELA and the math results. So yeah. Is this for like all age groups or grade levels or just one grade level?
This is all the grade levels, I believe, that took the test. See, you did have a question. Also something thank you so much, Miss George. Something I noticed too is that like math, like it seems like the kids are really loving the math in this school. So taking notice of that, like if someone was to ask you about our school, you could say our kids really are enjoying those math classes, and and what we could do to push literacy, because I think also too, if we push literacy, that can probably reduce the amount of red even in math too, right? And so even talking about or highlighting or spotlighting certain teachers in math that are pushing that, or what we can do in the younger grades so that we can continue to build that momentum. We have more, so I'll be calling on some more people if there's nothing else here. All right, cool.
One question. Is there like any tutoring programs or like after school programs that focus on these 2 items?
Yes, we actually do have tutoring starting tomorrow. And so there were certain students that were invited, and then we opened it up to the rest of the school. So we do have tutoring. We're calling it Level Up, so that students can be excited about leveling up, going to a next level in what they receive. Because really, the narrative should be, when we talk to the children, is do better than you did last year. It's you versus you. So we do have tutoring for students to help them to level up to their next.
I only say that because like some years ago, like I graduated high school in 2000 and I went back to school in like 2012 and had to take remedial math. But when I went into that remedial math class, like I aced everything. Like if it wasn't a 99, it was 100 on everything, because I had to bring it back into memory, actually doing the work itself.
Thank you. All right, so science is also state tested, and science is, I believe 8th grade, and is it 5th grade that gets tested? So we can look at the data here. And then I'm gonna take a pause after I go to the next one, because social studies is our next one. And 8th grade is the only class that has social studies. And this is where they were at last year compared to this neighboring school. So I'm gonna stop and pause. I'm going back and forth. This is the data from science. And then this is the data from social studies. Let's pause really quickly and let's see if there are any thoughts, concerns. Ms. Johnson, did you have any thoughts, concerns, wonderings, questions, Ms. Johnson, about where we are in science as a whole and where we are in social studies?
Oh, yeah. So I'm looking at the social studies. How can we get the scholars to like be more engaged into, because when I was in school, let's go back to when we back in school. Social studies and science was my weakness. So how can we get the scholars to get more engaged into social studies and science?
Yeah, I think that's a question for all of us. So if anyone wants to answer, is there anything, any suggestions?
How many like science fairs or projects are required? And then for social studies, are we doing anything like having the students to engage in like when I was in high school again in our ROTC, we had to do every week we had to write about events that were going on locally and then also nationally. So we had to stay involved in what was going on and bring those any questions we had about certain things going on back into class so that we could all have open discussions about them. So again, projects and again, keeping up with national and local events that are going on or news.
I can agree with that.
Or even career days and bringing people into the school to actually speak on those types of things and engage.
I don't know if Dr. Lyons wants to, thank you all for sharing those great ideas. Somebody asked about our science fair.
So I'm sorry, you all. I'm driving. Am I able to speak right now? I'm trying not to
Oh,
look at my screen too much because I'm driving, but I'm listening and I'm tuned in. Am I able to interject a little bit?
oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, so as far as how we are able to engage the scholars more so, I did want to say that I'm currently actively putting together an after school program. I've already pretty much pitched it to leadership within KIP. That's going to be under the School to Wealth pipeline. So the focal points are going to be education, ownership, and entrepreneurship. I've been in conversation with Rice pertaining to it. Dr. Quentin from Rice was completely and totally on board. And then when I went to the Go Team meeting on Saturday, I actually have a meeting on Thursday with the director. I can't remember the exact title with APS, but I do feel like that's something that will be able to, I would say, systemically bring forth more entrance from the scholars and more support from the families. As far as science, I don't know exactly how it connects with science, because it was more so focused on financial literacy, like I said, entrepreneurship and so on and so forth. But we do currently have a partnership with DreamWorks, so we were going to be able to bring in robotics, and it was robotics and also animation. So I think that can really definitely 100% help.
That and I think that would also fall in line with sciences as well. Robotics, other stuff.
Yeah, robotics. That's what I was thinking. Robotics might fall along those lines.
Okay.
Thank you. I guess just making sure with, especially with that partnership, that I guess the parents are invested as well. I'm not the science expert, but what I know, I am a social studies expert, but what I know is there's a lot of memorization, and in seventh grade, they don't get social studies. And so when they go to eighth grade, they have to now push themselves to like memorize a bunch of facts, and just having the capacity to memorize those facts is something that we really need to push. And obviously doing work at your house and like putting things together on like what does it mean to work at your house and to study for a test, right? I think old school, we used to use flashcards. And so really empowering parents to give them the tools and make them feel confident about helping their student to memorize the facts, right? Just making flashcards and just studying with your child at home, because it really is a heavily based memorization subject. And Dr. Lyons, I don't know if you want to chime in too when it comes to science. Ms. Grimm, in the room. Hopefully she can give us some insight too. Dr. Lyons, did you have anything? And Ms. Graham, did you have anything about what we could do to push science? Sorry, Dr. Lyons. Sorry, Dr. Lyons, you can go.
I think one of the key things really at all grade levels is not necessarily a curriculum that's it's entirely grade based where it becomes just a course. I think the key component to any student taking an interest in science is letting them know that there's an entire world out there that they have no clue even exist, and finding a way to excite them about the fact that, you know, if I drop this, it falls at this certain speed, or if I find this animal, it thrives in this certain environment and you wouldn't expect it to. Or if you try to just explain the fact that the universe is forever expanding, and find that one or two things that make them go, I want to know more about that. Because I think if it gets to the point where it's just a course at any level, and that's K through 8, then I think that it takes some of the magic away. And I think science is the matter of fact, there's a little sign on my door that science is magic except it's real. And I think the part of exciting the kids about what the possibilities are that are out there, and even the careers, let them start thinking about things that they may be interested in and avenues, and whether it's Georgia Tech or whether it's North Georgia or whatever the school might be that has a program that's designed for them, and let them know that there's so much more out there.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything that Dr. Lyons is saying. We try to make science a little fun for them as well, so they're excited to come to science. It really is just about studying. You know, we learn something new literally every single day. So we just have to find a way to, to help them, just kind of retain the information that they already know, or, just I think a big thing is also vocabulary as well. So, like you can look at a word and you can just tell, like, let's just say we're talking about seismograph. Like we know that if we see that word in a test, we know seismograph always deals with something with earthquakes. So, just kind of like relating the vocabulary words to like some test questions, and just, just making it fun. And there's a lot of charts and graphs and all those things in those tests too. So, we're also trying to get them, just accustomed to like looking at charts, knowing how to read the charts, knowing how to read the graphs, and, just knowing how to take the actual test. So, we're still, of course, working on that, but the scholars are super excited. They're super excited to be there. We do teach them that science is literally everywhere around us. Science deals with every single thing. So, I mean, they're excited this year about it. So, we're still working hard. We're still trying to get that push. We're trying to get at least 40% this year. We're trying, but I think, I think we'll do it.
All right, thank you all for a fruitful discussion. Some things that we talked about with science and social studies is, I think the first thing I heard, just to summarize, was making sure the kids are exposed to the different careers that are attached to it, making sure that we are pushing the narrative or the rhetoric that science and social studies is everywhere. It's important for your daily life. I love how one of our parents talked about Miss Mia talked about the entrepreneurship program and partnership that she is launching as well. So I think those are going to help with that, and we'll continue to talk about that throughout the year. How far do we have to grow? So we received this information about how far we have to grow the students in order to meet our metrics of proficiency, and moving them to, I think the left is the proficiency, right? And then the right is to move them to developing. And so when you look at the fourth grade column here, this is from the third graders. So they need 17.3% to get to the proficient, and then they need 29.2 to get to the developing. And I believe Ms. Stifler will correct me. And then they need 11. So the fifth graders last year, so I hope you all are understanding that the fifth graders, sorry, this fifth grade right here, they were fourth graders last year. So the fifth grade teachers need to help them to get to, well, everybody needs to help them to get 11.8, 35% proficiency. They need to grow by 11.8 and 16.3. And so I'll give you all like 1 minute to digest this data. And then if you look at the math, it's the same thing, right? We need to move up 5 more points to get to that 35%. We need to move up 5 more to get to that 70 of getting to developing. I'll give you a minute to dissect the information and we could discuss. Yes, the second part is developing. The first part is moving them to proficiency. Let's take about 2 minutes to discuss really quickly what are some things you notice. I guess I can start because I teach 7th grade. I looked at that. I was like 20.8 and for proficiency. And I was like, what in the world? And then I looked at the right side at 27.5. So I did see like it was a heavy lift for our particular grade level, but which can be discouraging, right? But then also it can still be motivating because you're like, okay, what can we do? And like, how can we make the kids feel confident when it comes to reading? And obviously that's an area where they need to feel confident. But then also too, it's like they still have that same issue in math, right? So they still need to grow heavily in both contents. And we did do some new things this year with having 2 ELA teachers and 2 math teachers. So being able to collaborate with somebody is different because I used to teach 8th grade and I had nobody to collaborate with. So at least in 7th grade, where we do see like we do have huge numbers to move, we do have the ability to collaborate. I have the ability this year to talk to another ELA teacher and even the other scholar support teacher as well and get ideas from them. So I'm more encouraged because of that.
I have a question.
Yes.
For the 35 who we're looking to be able to score at a proficient level, is there anything that they have in common that the other scholars who are not scoring don't, whether it's something that's at school or even like socioeconomic status? Is there something that is there like a defining attribute that differentiates those babies from those who are not scoring where they should be?
I don't know if
And
Ms.
is there a way, I'm saying like the scholars that are scoring proficient, what like I'm trying to understand what's the differentiation between them and those who aren't. Like, is there something that they have that the other scholars don't, is my question, statistically speaking. And if we don't know what that is there a way to be able to track that?
Ms. Siffer, did you want to answer that?
I was going to say, I'm not really supposed to talk in these meetings until the principal time. I'm just supposed to listen and learn. But really good question. There's no subgroup, Miss Yuta. We don't have a subgroup for low socioeconomic. It encompasses our whole school when they dissect this data. Not all of our scholars, but we are a very transient population. So typically we do find scholars who stay year over year. are outperforming, have higher on grade level reading achievement, all of those. The scholars also in seventh grade, when the COVID pandemic hit, they were in grade 1. And so when you think about learning to read, first grade is a really pivotal year. They were in it was March when the pandemic hit. And then if they were KIPP students, they didn't return to school until their third grade year. All of second grade was virtual as well. And that's a big year when you finish solidifying all the decoding and learning to read skills. And they often say we transition in third grade for reading to learn as opposed to just learning to read. So that is something when we just like think about our scholars in seventh, especially. Sixth grade was also in second and didn't return till fourth. And so it's hard because we are seeing that if you look at like the fourth graders and the fifth graders, they don't have as far to go as the older scholars. And some of that is because it takes time. We know that when we started as KIPP Woodson Park in 2019, we started as K through fifth. And so again, though that first year, those first graders were in seventh and they lost a year and 2 months of learning with the pandemic. So we're still closing gaps, just not as fast as we want. And so that's what we're really working on this year is we can't just keep growing because while we're showing how far we have to go, we're not showing how far we've come and how different this is, and how we are having the highest data that we've ever had. But the reason that Ms. Okolaj and I chose to show this data is because this is not where we want it to be. Yes, we're higher, but we're not fulfilling our promise. So yeah, closing reading takes time. We're anxious to get it. The ELA standards changed this year in Georgia. 2 years. This is 2 years after math standards changed. So we're hoping that we'll also see, just like the state of Georgia, improvement in our scores as we learn these new ELA standards as well.
Thank you so very much. So just to clarify, so it's the seventh graders, the sixth and seventh graders were the ones who were at home during the pandemic?
No, everyone was at home.
I mean,
was just
yeah,
saying
but those
the
are
pivotal
first grade.
years of learning
Yes.
to read. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, understood. Thank you. I'm already thinking of solutions. Thank you.
And then something that can be promising or encouraging is that they brought back the comparison or growth between like certain kids that were on a certain level and awarding people, I guess, points for growing. But I think we'll talk about that later. And so that was interesting to learn. So like kids that were on the same level as other kids, did they grow a certain amount for that year? And I don't know if that's making sense with me just doing my hands like this on camera. But anyways, iReady results for math. So we took the iReady test this year and we replaced it with our MAP testing. So it shows what level students are on, and we're hoping to grow obviously between mid-year and the end of the year. So you all can take about 20 seconds just to digest this information. Goes up by grade level. And then this is our ELA results. So again, iReady is just the test that we take to see what level the students are on for ELA and math. So it lets us know their Lexile, their reading level. And historically, last year, we took MAP, and now we're taking iReady to monitor reading levels and math levels. So that was the last one. If there's anyone that wants to give us any wonderings, any questions. So this is math. just something that I see immediately is a lot of red in the 6th grade math. And then it shoots up. So I'm actually wondering how it went, I mean, it's the beginning of the year, but that would have been 7th grade.
No, that's this year's 6th graders.
Oh no, we were talking, Miss
Ah.
Graham wondering about, was it the last year ones? And then this is the ELA. And I think if you look at the ELA for 8th grade, it kind of correlates with what we just saw earlier, right? They had a lower number of how many kids they need to push up to proficiency, and they also had a lower, in middle school, they had a lower red because most of them, I won't say most of them, but a good chunk of them were actually, you know, close. They were on middle school range anyways for reading. So that showed up in the data here. Did anyone want to give us any final feedback about any of the data that was shown today? Let's talk about the glows really quickly. Let's get 2 glows, 2 shining things. What is Kip Woodson Park doing so well? What are we doing? We can still improve in those areas because we're always looking to elevate. I don't know if Miss who am I hear from? Miss Odom. What are some glows? What are some things that we're doing great?
I would say keeping the scholars excited about school is something that we're good at. I feel like even though some of the numbers can be low on certain days of the week, like Friday, I don't feel like a lot of kids come to school, and like Monday it's kind of like light. I do feel like that solid Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday scholars are really, really excited about being at school.
Thank you. And then let me get Miss Graham to give us any glows about the data that we've seen.
I do think that I think that, you know, of course, we are growing. We have what am I trying to say? More teachers to collaborate. Like I know now we have 2 science teachers in 5th grade. Miss O was saying that she has, you know, teachers to collaborate with ELA. So I think, you know, like we're growing as long as we're collaborating, making, you know, everything fun, having the kids retain the information, I think it'll be good. So right now, the scholars that are in the, ooh, y'all, my mind is frozen. The yellow, what's the yellow? Huh? Huh? The yellow, I'm so sorry, y'all. My head is, what is the yellow called? It's called developing. Yes, I'm so sorry. Yes, so developing. I think we have a lot of scholars in developing, and we can definitely shoot those scholars into the green, into proficient. That's all.
All right, thank you. So areas of growth. Obviously, we talked about an area of growth is pushing those science and social studies scores, reducing the amount of red at the least. Let's start with that, reducing that number, because I believe social studies had like about 54%. So that's an area of growth, getting them excited about science. Another area of growth, definitely trying to push as many kids as possible out of the red for ELA, especially in the 6th, 7th grade. Let me see if there's someone else that wants to give us another area of growth. Some places that we can do better. I don't know if, let me see. Ms. Johnson, Angel, is there an area of growth, something that you think we should do better? We could do better with this upcoming year.
Well, my scholar is in 2nd grade, and I have seen growth, so I don't think it's an area of growth. Let me think. Um, Probably try to get scholars to come to school more often. I know, like you say, Mondays be small numbers and Fridays be small numbers. But just, get them to come to school Monday through Friday to see, sometimes Monday through Friday is probably something that they miss that Monday and Friday. So just get them to be more attentive at school.
I agree. Thank you.
Can
This
I
is our,
say
oh,
area of growth?
go ahead.
I think providing scholars with more opportunities to take reading home with them and not just with their homework, like books, if that was a possibility. I think kids get excited when their parents are excited. And I think applying that excitement they have at home, maybe at like story time or something, if they could bring that like back to school and having the parents practice what a fluent reading voice sound like with them. I think that would be something we could do.
Oh yeah, that sounds like a good idea too. Cause I'm gonna be honest with you, Ariana, reading when we first got to Kemp, reading wasn't a good thing for her. It was always math. But since she's been at Kemp, reading is good. So, cause I'm a teacher myself, and when I see a weakness with her, I'll bring that home. So I think that's a good idea of using.
All right. Thank you so much. Timeline for our Go teams. We are in September to December. We review progress on current strategic plans, and you can see where we're headed in number 5. Before we went to break, we'll take action. Vote on the rank of the strategic plan priorities for the next coming school year. Are there any questions, concerns? This is a great time to express them.
I have a question. Um, what literary options do they have to read at the school or books to take home?
I cannot speak for all the grade levels, but I know for middle school, we do have a library. Every homeroom teacher is supposed to have a set of books. And so we don't necessarily have a librarian, which probably is the big gap here, but they would have to check them out in their homeroom classes. So everyone gets a Dear book based off of that. And I don't know, some grade levels are allowed to take them home. So it's like, I guess we need to norm on that. So for our kids in 7th grade, they are allowed to take them. They actually have a reading log every night that they need to finish. And so I think for me, that was an area of growth for when I started teaching here, was that making sure I pushed that reading log. And I did not do it last year, but this year, and also giving them time to do Dear. I think we tried doing that in the beginning of the year. And so hopefully we can can't really suggest anything on anyone else's team though, but for 7th grade, making sure that they're reading their actual Dear book, because they're starting to take these AR tests. So if they go
What's
home,
the, I'm sorry to interject. What's the Dear, what is a Dear book?
drop everything and read.
Okay.
So just their independent reading book, just a book that is not part of the curriculum. So their own book. So if we're reading A Raisin in the Sun, they should have their own book at all times. And if they're done with they're done with their work early. And again, I can't speak across all of middle school because it has to be a norm. I'm only the 7th grade level chair. The norm is that all the kids have to have a book. If you're done with your work early for some reason, you need to start reading your book. So your eyes should be in something at all times. So definitely pushing that. And also we do have the Scholastic Book Fair coming up. So making sure our parents know about that and making sure that they're investing their own money and their own resources into getting books that they actually like and that they would read. And also too, I'm gonna talk to some more people because we're doing a words read competition in 7th grade where they need to take tests of the book, but that's only on Renaissance Learning. And a lot of my scholars knew how to sign into that. And so they've been taking tests on the books that they've read. The only thing about that is that it just has to be a test that Renaissance Learning already has on there. So sometimes kids have books that are not on there, but some of them check it before they start reading the book so that they can receive the points.
Gotcha. That was leading to my next. Yeah, no, you definitely answered my question well, because I was trying to think that to be able to pique their interest and actually get them to read, we want it to be something that they're interested in reading. That was the reason behind me asking that and trying to see how we could get more books that would actually pique their interest. And I have one more question. Do we have like creative writing possibly so, or is that encouraged as well?
We do have a huge push in the ELA department for writing this year. And then I believe fourth grade has a separate writing teacher. We don't have separate writing teachers in middle school. So we have to balance doing reading, writing. And so that gets kind of crazy because like you focus too much on writing, then it's like the reading questions don't get done. So really striking that balance, but we have pushed writing. It's not creative, but it's more technical things because they do on their GMAT, they have to do pure editing. So it's more technical. Like, does the paper have a 3-point thesis statement? Does it have a topic sentence? So I hope that answers it. We don't technically have a creative writing. All right. Thank you for those questions. These are good questions. But then also too, we're seeing a deficit. Like if you don't really read that well, chances are your writing is not that great either.
That's exactly why, and exactly why I was asking, because due to the correlation between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mind is already, next go team meeting, I won't be driving, so I have something to present because I'm already thinking of all types of ideas.
Awesome.
Out there.
Good. And that's what I think the data exposure was supposed to get those juices flowing. So that's awesome. Thank you so much.
I would also say, like, even with the creative writing, that could also help them with the technical side of things. So like if they do their own creative writing, you could basically say, you could partner people and say, do you see a thesis statement? Or do you see the other parts that you're looking for? So they're able to identify those types of things as well.
Yes. And then also too, the rule that I have is like, if you know the rules, you can break the rules, right? So once they know they have once they have a good grasp on just the English grammar, punctuation, basics, they can then start breaking rules with their creative writing. But we want them to know the rules because that EOG and those GMATs, it's like a rubric. And so the computer tests them on that, but also still not wanting to stifle their creativity. So that is something that a lot of us struggle with as teachers, like trying to be as creative as possible, but knowing that they have end of the year test to take. So striking that balance so that the kids do have some autonomy and some creativity in that way. And also giving them that investment into school. Love these questions, love the engagement. Oh, principal's report.
All right. So this is, I don't have too much, but if you click to the next one for me, Miss Okalaja. This is just our status update about our attendance so far. Ms. Okalaja shared a lot of it today about our academic data. Since it was the end of last year, we could finally share the milestones and then the new iReady data. So she'll more often when we don't have new academic data, she'll focus on attendance as well, because we know that's one of our important goals. And just like you guys were saying, we got to make sure kids are here to learn. We're really, really excited to say our attendance right now is about at 82.6%, is about 10% percentage points higher than it was this time last year. Scholars are here more frequently. And so that is, how we can help them learn and grow even more. She shared with you our goal is that 72% of scholars are here 90% or more days. What that means is if you're enrolled the whole school year, that's 180 days, you can only miss 17 days at most. If you are only enrolled 100 days, you get less because you would have to only miss 9 days. So it depends on how long you're enrolled. Right now, if you look at overall is at the bottom where it says total. So right now, 83% of our scholars have been here 90% of the school year that they've been enrolled so far. We do get new scholars every day, and so we had 3 new ones today. Obviously, scholars who have not yet been here 30 days, the percentage is skewed a little bit. But for the most part, there's just 17% of our scholars who are really focusing on to make sure they're here more often. So those scholars, we call them every day, text them. The attendance team meets every week. They get a phone call every day. And then right now, there are 30 families that we've identified with different teammates across the building that they're really taking accountability for them. They're looking every morning, first thing, if they're there, and if not, reaching out. And those families will receive a prize if they get above 90% and stay there by December. But looking at this chart, you can tell we got some really high grades. With third grade at 88%, seventh grade at 89%. So those are really, really high grades, but second and sixth are trending lower. We have had a illness going around in second grade, so that's impacted us some, but we really got to focus on getting our second graders and our sixth graders here. If you go to my next one, Miss Okalaja, this just shows our current enrollment. We do know our total of 648, like I shared at our last meeting, is much smaller than it has been. 2 years ago, we were over 900, about 920. So that's a lot smaller, almost 300 smaller. Atlanta Public Schools, with our rezoning this year, predicted us to be at 643. So we're trending right at where we are. Typically, we have about 100 scholars in every grade level. So you can see all of them are really small because, 50s, 60s, and 70s is really small, but especially small in kinder, first, and sixth grade. But we know this is about what we'll stay at for the year. Can go to my next slide. So these are just some updates. Some of them came up in some of your questions, and Ms. Okalaja gave you all answers, but we're just starting tutoring. It starts tomorrow. We won't have all of our scholars in third through eighth that we've identified because we've identified almost 200, but we do have about at least 50 starting tomorrow before the break. Just like Ms. Okalaja said, there are level up scholars, so really working. It doesn't necessarily mean that they just have deficits. It could be that they're proficient and we're going to get them to a distinguished on the milestones. So it's for all levels, just scholars who are close to getting to that next level. We're also, to Ms. Yehuda's question, we have a subgroup. We are a targeted school because our scholars with disability over time have not grown enough. And so we receive funding that we target those scholars. And so in November, we're going to partner with Ignite Reading Tutoring. And so those scholars with disabilities will get 15 minutes a day additional to their ELA block, their writing block, their WIN block, all of the blocks we have. They'll get 15 minutes additional during the day of a private virtual one-on-one tutor who's really working with them on targeted needs. So we're super excited about that. And then those scholars after fall break will also begin their own separate tutoring to make sure it's in line with their IEPs and everything to help them reach their goals. Quarter one just ended last Friday. It's crazy to say we're 25% already through the year. We had a lot of interim testing in third through eighth grade on the tested grade. So ELA, math, science, and social studies. Kids took a lot of tests last week. And next week, when we have days off and our teachers and staff come back, we'll be really digging into that data to use it to plan our next quarter. Just some exciting news. Our fall sports, this is the last one, they're in full effect. Our KIPP Atlanta West scholars, so that's us, KIPP Vision, and KIPP Soul make a team. They made the playoffs for our tackle middle school football team. And then our younger scholars, our kindergarten through sixth graders, have been playing every Saturday morning at KIPP Soul. Really, really fun. So if you guys want to see some fun flag football, we're there again this Saturday starting at 10 a.m. Other exciting things is we applied for a grant we get a set of bikes for a whole class. And so in PE, we will be teaching our kindergartners and first graders who don't know how to ride a bike. It's just such an important life skill. And so we're really excited. It was a over $10,000 grant, and the Arthur Blank Foundation funded that for us, and so enabled us to get that grant. We also had 2 scholars who are on the first ever inaugural Middle School Leadership Alliance. So they're on a committee that will be working with our superintendent and just other school board members. They're just learning about how do decisions get made for schools and letting them hear right from the mouths of our scholars of what could go better, what's going well. So just really, really proud of our scholars to grow in this way, to be leaders in this way, and to support their community. So just wanted to share some of the positive things that have been happening. So you can go to my next slide. The next 2 slides, as you all know, Atlanta Public School is looking towards the future and is doing a lot to reshape and ensure that Atlanta Public School is being fiscally responsible, which is inclusive of potentially closing some schools, merging some schools. All of that would not take place next school year, but would take place in the 2027-28 school year. This does not just affect us. It does not just affect the Douglas Clowner. It's the cluster. It's the whole Atlanta Public Schools district. And so these are just some upcoming meetings on October 20th and November 10th. So you can learn about it and voice your opinions. Each of those days, there's a virtual session at noon, and they post on their website the link since it's not there yet. And in person at 6. If you go to the next slide. This is, if anyone just wants to take a photo of them, these are additional community outreach meetings. You can see a lot of them. Some are tonight, some happened last week, but throughout October, you can attend any of them if you want. Again, it's just to learn more and voice more. The proposed plan of what Atlanta Public Schools will be doing will be brought to the school board for the first meeting. And so that's always the first Monday of the month. So that will be November 3rd, I believe. So that's coming up in less than a month. The proposed plan of what Atlanta Public Schools will do in 2 years that will affect all scholars and communities across our city. So just really important to be aware as much as you can. And then I'll pass it back to you for announcements, Ms. Okalaja. Those are all my report.
Thank you so much. We have some exciting things to look forward to, some upcoming events. Monday to Wednesday, we do have Picture Day. We are updating the photos in IC, especially for those middle school students who have outgrown those pictures. Tuesday is a STEM family event. Friday, K-4 Q1 Awards Day. So all students will be receiving awards from their teachers. October 12th to the 14th is fall break. This is actually, that's a teacher's fall break. And then, well, the kids have an asynchronous day. They're going to be learning from their homes on October 16th and 17th. So all children will be receiving assignments as they are at the house. So that's what we mean by asynchronous days. So they will have to complete work and they will have to bring it back when fall break is over. We have parent conferences, and those links are going out tomorrow for them to schedule them. And then October 23rd, we have Male Warrior Welcome Team at Arrival. And then October 31st is our fall festival. And then we don't have this up here, but we do have our cultural collective that's happening this Friday. So celebrating the values of our school. We're going to celebrate some students who have been showing those the 5 values of our school. So we're going to celebrate them at each grade level. And we are starting to do that. Oh, when is the science fair?
There's no science fair right now.
Mr. Graham said there was a science fair.
No, the science fair is next year, but the packets are gonna be ready, when we come back from break. Sorry, guys, my computer died. So the science fair is coming up next year, I think around in February. Of course, we definitely want to get started a little early. So I'm gonna have like the science fair packets, the requirements and things like that ready for us whenever we get back from break, from fall break.
So that's something that we should all be looking forward to, encouraging the students. Let's see if there's any questions about any of the announcements, anything that Ms. Stifler has discussed. All right, awesome. We did some great work here. Do I have a motion to, do I need a motion for this? A motion to adjourn the meeting? Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Aye.
Do we need to vote all in favor? Okay. Everyone in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Oh. Any abstentions? I don't think anyone abstained. Awesome. Thank you all so much for your time and for your engagement. This was a highly engaging meeting. If you have any other questions or concerns, please make sure you're checking your emails. I did send out a reminder email. Ms. Stifler has sent out a reminder for our calendar invites. It's the same Zoom link, so you can click on that Zoom link immediately. And then I also send it in the email as well. I think I send it a week before just to put it on your radar. And then I also send it 15 minutes before their scheduled email. So it comes out 15 minutes before, and it's the same Zoom link at all times. And thank you. I believe Miss Mia talked about her bringing some new ideas based off of the information. So we're looking forward to some collaboration going on. All right. Have a good rest of your night. Thank you all so much for this meeting. Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.